I like that one, but
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's the
Let's talk about bruisers don't need buffs. Yeah, go look at any competitive game, and then you notice how, like, every other class gets to watch their shit get played, and then
assassins
bruisers
don't
just
get.
get to
Wait,
watch
what? Wait,
mages against
what?
tanks every time.
What assassins are getting played?
Like you go to the LCK, like the 80 mains get to be like, oh yeah, I
just
get to see
ignore
like
you.
Ashe and
Oh my
Israel.
God.
Oh, it's so cool. The jungle mains get to be like, oh, I get to see Xin Zhao and Rek'Sai. The mid mains get to see like fucking Lissandra every game.
Shinzao.
But then like you go to top, what is it top? It's always like Vladimir against Sion, Jace maybe sometimes.
Hold on 1 sec.
Like let's actually look. Like let's look up the play. I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna look up the pick rate for top lane. Number 1, Riven.
Yeah.
Number 2, Jax. Number 3, Darius. Number 4, Renekton. Then Aurelia, York. Number 7 comes in the first competitive pick with Jace.
Hey, so I was going through presence of champions, and yeah, while bruisers don't have like the presence of say like Jace or Lucian at 89 and 86% on 9-4. I was scrolling down, like J4 is a bruiser, he's at like 72. Rek'Sai is a bruiser at 61.
Yeah, but Rek'Sai's only in the
Aurelia's
jungle.
a skirmisher, 41. Okay, Olaf at 34.
Yeah, Olaf's only in the
Okay.
jungle though.
Okay, Jax at 15.
I'm saying look at like the
Okay.
top lane bruiser presence.
Renekton's being played. That's not jungle.
Okay, but I'm saying look at the
So-
top lane bruiser presence, right? Yeah, like everyone else, like us top laners are the only people that I'll say it, who aren't treated like people.
You're acting like bruisers are picked less top lane than assassins are picked mid lane, by the nature that they're just a riskier pick to play around.
Okay,
Right?
well,
In
there's
pro play.
actually
So wait, well, how are assassin players doing though? Right, like I didn't really see any assassin players on that list that were not jungle Kazakhs, right? So,
okay,
or assassin
but
champions.
I actually do have a
And
unifying.
I'm not saying that that's not a. I'm not saying that that's a good thing. I'm just saying like I don't know why. You know what? The bigger I don't know why we're talking about this. How's your day been? Let's talk about something different.
I actually think there's a unifying thought process between those two problems.
Yeah, what's that?
Mages are overpowered and have taken everyone's job.
Or the nature of the class of mages is one that's less risky and therefore more preferred in pro play.
Okay, but why are they less risky and yet at the same time, like...
I mean, I think there's a world where you could make bruisers and assassins less risky and then they're not nearly as fun to play.
Right, but mages are less risky while being exactly as, like, what do you want to call it? High impact. Like, okay, look at it this way. LeBlanc is less risky than Zed while being as high impact on Zed. I think it's just the nature of mages and their itemization that I
think that's the nature of I mean, I think you're like discussing relative strengths and weaknesses between LeBlanc and Zed, and it's weird that you're pointing to like LeBlanc as a mage when like LeBlanc's one of this like weird pseudo mage assassins.
Right, but so long as she gets to use mage itemization reduces... Honestly, it reduces pretty much all your risk. When you look at, like, the defensive... And, like, okay, literally say, an AD assassin can run into the issue that you start stacking armor, right? And their primary lethality is directly countered by armor. So what do? They go Lord Dominic's Regards. Lord Dominic's Regards is more expensive and gives less penetration than Void Staff.
You know, I'm not really a numbers guy, so I'm not gonna debate the nuances of it with you. I did really.
Wait, aren't you literally a numbers guy?
That's what I was joking about. I was being sarcastic. Sorry, that didn't.
Well, when you say you're not a numbers guy while discussing numbers, I feel like there's a bit of a...
Actually, it is interesting. I'm not a numbers guy in that sense. So in some ways, I'm not being disingenuous there. I'm more attuned to the not specific balance numbers of items. I'm more following revenue, engagement for league, champion play rates, sentiment around the game realistically. Not really like the specifics of lethality of, I don't know, armor pen versus void staff. Sorry, so I can't really. I'll just take your word for it that you're right. But I really liked Dom's response to you on Twitter. I thought that was kind of funny.
What?
Regarding the where you're like, oh, like Proto Belt and Zanya's is so cheap.
Okay,
And
but here's the thing that
try-
people won't actually acknowledge, and here's a big fact, and I don't even bring it up because people are like
God.
so unwilling to acknowledge it.
You gotta let me at least finish the sentence. You gotta
Protobelt
at
and
least-
Hourglass are basically as effective in team fights as Trinity Spear. When you look at competitive play and you start
then you're-
looking at how team fights are.
This is the thing that you do, right? You point out one aspect and then everyone's like, oh yeah, that's right, that's the only aspect. It's like when you're like, oh, they nerfed 40% of Conqueror, when it's like, no, we nerfed 40% of Conqueror at its like max levels, not 40% of the entire effect of Conqueror. And the reason why it's bad that you do this when you frame stuff this way is because you're not talking about the other strengths. It's like, yeah, maybe they are just as effective in team fights, but guess what? League of Legends is not just team fights.
It basically is just team fights.
Oh my god.
If you look at competitive play, it's basically just team fights. Everyone
it's
plays.
not.
Everyone, okay, when you pick a mage top like Vlad, you've pretty much neutralized the laning process. So when you're comparing the strengths of champions, right, and Vlad can neutralize the laning process by basically not allowing anyone other than Jace to bully him in lane, and Jace is a huge balance issue in his own, so Jace is more of an exception than the rule. So he's neutralized the laning phase. You can't use the laning phase in this example here. And then you say, oh, but what about split pushing? But then we see that Vlad, especially as the game progresses, actually starts to win the split push. And it takes like dedicated hardline split pushers to beat him. We saw that at Worlds when Vlad was actually beating Camille on the split push.
What's really interesting is how many champions build Protobelt Zanyas besides Vlad?
Okay, I mean, do you want me to list them? Because they're all broken. The only one I've seen who isn't broken is Echo, who's actually kind of broken
Who
himself.
else builds it?
Lysandra, Galio.
Okay. I don't really think. I think we actually like literally nerfed both those champions.
Yeah, I wonder why. I wonder why champions who hadn't received, and everyone says, oh, it's Aftershock, but no.
Well, I think Aftershock is a big part of it, and I also think Galio is an extremely powerful pick in pro play because of the global ulti that he provides, just like every other champion.
And hear me out on this one.
Hear you out on this one? Okay.
Okay. The only reason
just this one?
The only reason that Aftershock can be used so effectively is you combine Aftershock, right, with Protobelt, with Hourglass, and all of a sudden you have a character who's actually pretty tanky on their own, who then also has an invulnerability, who then also has an escape move, who then also, when they use a CC, effectively get, KO with Aftershock.
Yeah, it sounds like those champions have really good synergies with the items, and it might be the champions themselves.
But
strong, which is
why are those items so cheap then? Like when you look at competitive play, when you look at your target build, right? And how much gold per second does a champion get on average? I don't actually know. What, like 200, 100?
I don't know.
It's probably close to 200. That means that even the cheapest bruiser build reasonably.
Oh yeah, good point. Good point from my stream. Protobelt doesn't scale very well.
Okay, that's
yeah.
bullshit.
I agree with this. Yeah, the people who build Protobelt are Echo, Kennen, Lysandra, Galio, and sometimes So we're also just kind of discussing things where it's like, hey, like there's a lot of correlation versus causation here. It's like, yeah, could the items maybe be a little
okay, but and hear me out as even if you say it doesn't scale well, we're in a
early game. There's also this pro play right now is pretty early game focused. Right?
Okay, so why is there an item? Like, if you're saying Protobelt doesn't scale, then maybe give it 10 more ability power and jack up the item cost by, like, 200. I don't know. That'd probably be a fair nerf while also buffing it. Then it'd have 70 ability
power. Like a fair adjustment. Hey, listen. I like that. That's, like,
because
not terrible suggestion.
Okay, because go along with my line of thought here, right? When you look at how quick games are decided, when you look at how important team fighting is, right? That extra 5 minutes that a mage has their target item build, that a bruiser's trying to build it, and that's assuming the bruiser can generate 200 gold a minute, mind you, which should be easy and doable, but I don't know. That extra 5 minutes they have is, you look at a competitive game and look at how quickly 5 minutes, like, impacts a game. Why did Master Yi don't do it? Yeah.
I'm with you. Hey, can I just say that was one of the more, and you're right, and like people could be like, hey, like games have been like super snowbally and like kind of like, or not super snowbally, but I think they're like pretty fast paced at least right now. That was one of the first sort of lines of logic where I'm like, hey, like I could buy that. I don't know if it's true, right? I'd actually
Well, that's the thing.
smarter than
Everyone,
me
okay,
look
when
into
people
it.
talk about bruisers, right? The snowballing effect is so ignored, it's actually insane. The fact that most bruiser items got their build pass shit on is a form of balancing.
Oh, get fucking juked, dude.
He dead? Don't die. Oh, that was actually pretty good.
Yeah, we win this, baby.
Wait.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the fact that Kaus... Okay, much love for Cowsep here, great guy. He completely ignored in his entire Alpha Strike post that currently you can auto attack, cancel it into Alpha Strike, so you're doing Alpha Strike while auto attacking. Then you get to auto attack before you're seen from the Alpha Strike. So once you have Rage Blade, once you have your passive, you can prevent... you can potentially do 4 or 5 unpreventable auto attacks with Alpha Strike.
The thing from Cowsep's post that I was most interested in, like from my perspective and the stuff I work on, is his whole point about how the ability does not feel very good right now. So there's a world where we can make it power down and like actually nerf it, but make it feel better. Then maybe that's like the better option, right? If it actually is just too strong of an ability.
If it felt like shit to use, I don't think you'd see every Master Yi going for the level 3 turret dive. I feel there might be some, like, what do you want to call it? Like, people are expecting it to act like a parry, when in reality, it's more of like an auto attack reset that also does damage and makes you invulnerable. And that's the thing, when you can do 4 auto attacks while being well, do you call it invulnerable? If I call it invulnerable, the Master Yi players are probably gonna whine, but let's say like invisible.
In alpha.
In alpha. When you can do 4 auto attacks in alpha on every single alpha. It's like in that mid lane fight that just happened. Like, the cat gets Alpha Striked at half health, and then he auto-attacks her. Then he gets out and immediately auto-attacks her again, and then all of a sudden she's 1 attack from death despite being in half health. From a supposed sustained damage character. Alright, I'm like next to the wall, so come on, go on. I believed in you. I literally put my life.
I might have misclicked. I
literally put my life in your hands.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, the patch notes where everyone talks about how you guys are mutilating Conqueror. Is that still the top?
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna ask if I'll have the analyst on my team, Bonobo.
Okay, but I'm a preemptively.
I might have him show like what it does to win rates of the champions, like where like Conqueror's win rate is at right now. It's power. Ooh, or the other thing is I think we can look at our time series data and actually like show like the strength of Conqueror versus other runes, which would be cool. Okay, I'm gonna see if we can do something. If
here's my problem with that. You guys keep comparing Conqueror to like not Conqueror, right? But Conqueror is deliberately the only rune you guys have made for Bruisers. So when you look at Conqueror, you're not looking at Conqueror, you're looking at Bruisers. And when you look at not Conqueror, you're looking at someone basically trolling.
We're not just looking at Bruisers, we're also looking at skirmishes too.
Well, that's why you look. If you want Bruisers to have more keystones, then give Bruisers more keystones. Don't give them 1 keystone, and then
I don't think we're saying we make a keystone like this is the keystone for Bruisers. This is the keystone. Like it's like I think we say, hey.
Isn't that literally what Conqueror was made for, though?
No, I think Conqueror was made for sustained damage.
But wasn't it literally made because Bruisers were complaining they didn't have a keystone?
Yeah, I think Bruisers were specifically complaining that. Oh my god, I didn't arm myself. See, Hashinshin, the problem is you keep talking and then I fucking potato.
Look, I'm trying to train you for the bright world of streaming.
So it's like, imagine we're like, hey, like Bruisers don't have a key. Like, oh, Bruisers don't have a keystone. Also, we don't have a good sustained damage keystone. It's like, hey, how can we do like a keystone that would be good for Bruisers and also be a good sustained damage keystone? I don't know, mages who do system.
Okay, but here's the problem. Mages have like 3 keystones for sustained damage. They can go Arcane Comet, which on mages gets resets and does massive damage. They can go Conqueror, or a lot of the mages can go Lethal Tempo, actually. I shouldn't say a lot, a couple of them. Azir goes Lethal Tempo, Kale goes Lethal Tempo.
That's like 2, and I'm pretty sure those are the only 2.
Okay, if you guys start,
and again, you're getting like into a point where it's like actually Azir is like, is Azir more a mage or more a marksman, right? Like a lot of his play styles a mix. I feel like sometimes you put champions into like singular buckets, and it's like a lot of Azir's play style is actually more similar to a marksman.
Okay, if you guys include like half the champion roster into Bruisers,
is Azir's play pattern more similar to Tristana or more similar to like Syndra? And I'd argue it's more similar to Tristana.
I would actually say in competitive play it's more similar to Syndra. Maybe that's a design flaw in you guys and why you've kept him weak, but
Coming in here.
I'm actually gonna not die, which is fun.
Okay. You got him. Good shit, dude.
But
Chat,
no,
I can see visible frustration from Plow.
what I dislike is you guys put half the roster in bruisers, but then when it comes to like mages, you guys like separate them off into like these weird like niche categories that only like one champion occupies. Like you guys, okay, you include Rek'Sai as a bruiser.
I mean, I
when
can talk to
her
you about,
itemization is.
I can talk to you. I can talk to you about the like different sections of mages, right? Like Zillion is a enchanter mage.
I'm gonna call him a
right?
support.
Support mage, sure, you can call him that. You have things like battle mages that are like frontline mages, like Vladimir and Rise.
Those are just mages.
You have artillery. Yeah, see.
Okay, but you put like Rek'Sai in
like
bruiser.
Xerath, right?
When I ask you like, are bruisers
Ziggs.
played in competitive? You like list out Rek'Sai. But when I start leaving, like, whoa, mages are taking over the game. You're like, oh no, it's not mages. It's frontline battle mages, not regular mages. And I'm like, okay, but LeBlanc is a safer mage. And you're like, oh, she's not a mage. She's a ranged assassin.
No, I was only bringing up LeBlanc because you were comparing her specifically to Zed. One of my favorite things that you see, you do it a lot, but by the way, this is not me just shitting on you for this. Like, everyone does this. They're like, oh my god, Echo has a 2-part dash, all of this wave clear on his Q, a giant AoE stun, one of the biggest AoE stuns in the game, and he has like the ability that if he ever fucks up, he just goes back and it does so much damage, and he has a speed boost on his passive. It's like, you just like name like what a champion does, and it just sounds OP because you're just like naming everything. Everyone does that, though. It's not just you.
Yeah, I mean, you know what Jax does? He leaps and then strikes.
Oh my god! Jax literally has an ability that makes it so he doesn't take any damage from auto attacks, and it's a giant AoE stun. But how does he even use it on people? Turns out he has a leap on a really short cooldown.
And it strikes. It really is kind of in a
How
weird
is that?
spot right now where she's like a lane bully late game carry. Even more so than before. But I guess she doesn't carry as hard and bully the lane as hard, but it's like, it's you know, Blau, I'm going to tell you this one. It's a problem seen throughout all history of a systemic issue plaguing the system. Actually, though, low-key, I feel you guys actually did a somewhat decent job pulling back Aurelia's competitive power.
I actually think so, too. I was actually really pleased with what we did with her.
Like her win rate in solo queue has gone up, but she's no longer like super pick ban competitively speaking.